Good morning as folks are joining here on this today, the 17th of April. It's great to see you folks. I see Christine. I saw Cherish. Good morning, Cherish. Right on cue. And I know Lori may be in transition, so we'll give it maybe 30 more seconds and then we can start. As we've said yesterday, this week, all the amendments for the House budget were due last Friday. And so this week we expect the committee to group them by topic. And so once we have all the amendments grouped, we'll share an update, but I'll actually put in the chat, you can go to the mass.gov page, the Mass Legislature's page. I'll show you so we can see it together. You just click on this is the Mass Legislature website, and then you click on budget, and then you go to House debate. It will take some time. And then you can see here on the page, it has the kind of what's happening in the budget. And then here you can see all the amendments. So they're listed by number. And then it'll move on. See, the consolidated amendments will be the next step, and then the history, and then other documents. But as you can see, the first amendment of the bunch is the Taylor Swift effect. Representative Pignatelli, I think he's done this in the past couple sessions. So this will be, I'll put the link in chat so you can do your own investigation about this, but this is where all the amendments are. And so it's pretty clear, so you can see how things are going. Okay, so we are continuing our meet and greet with our Advocacy Network participants, and I see we have Cherish Casey and Christine Ashman here, and then we're hoping that Lori Thames can also join us. So I will start both we'll start with Cherish and then go to Christine. If you could both just tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came to be in your current role.
Okay, good morning, everyone. So my name is Cherish Casey. I work at Ellis Early Learning as a family engagement social worker. When I first started working at Ellis, I was the family navigator and fell in love with family support and really wanted to learn more. And so I decided to go back to school for social work at Simmons University to further study and learn how to best support children and early in behavioral health, or as we're calling it now, early relational health. And had a bit of experience in the past with advocacy through an organization called the Essex County Community Organization. It was my internship for my undergrad in social work. And so I knew I was a teacher for several years prior to coming to Ellis. And so I really wanted to put my two experiences together, which was early childcare and advocacy. And so I found out about Amy O'Leary, who was on our board, and Strategies for Children, started coming to the 9:30 calls and learned about the Advocacy Network, and just really fell in love with the experience because early childcare is something that's really important. It's all I've known. Even in high school, I studied early childhood education in a vocational high school. And so I've been studying it for a very long time. And it's just really a place that will always have, early childhood will always be a place in my heart, have a special place in my heart.
And so, Cherish, how long have you been at Ellis?
April 25th will make it 2 years.
And then where were you a teacher before that?
I was in Lynn, so I started well, actually during so kind of like an internship, they put you in co-op when you're when you are in your last year of high school at a vocational school. So I was at Moppets Incorporated in Alewife. I was there for a year, and then eventually I went to Joy Child Care Center in Lynn. Then when I was 21, became a lead teacher at Greg House Preschool. Was there for about 5 years. Um, but unfortunately, I did get cancer, so I had to leave the field for a while. And there wasn't really any benefits or anything that could protect me to holding on to my position. So I
Right.
had to leave, but it only pushed me to study social work and further develop my education so I could be better for the field.
And Cherish, how many classes are you taking this semester?
Right now I'm taking 2 classes, which will be done this week, and I can't wait because one of them
Woo!
goes until 11 o'clock at night on Tuesdays.
Right. So Cherish joins us for the Advocacy Network from 6 to 7, and then has to go to class until 11 o'clock at night. So
Yeah.
we appreciate what you're doing. And thank you so much for sharing about you. Good morning, Lori Thames. We're going to go to Christine to tell us a little bit about you and your and how you got to be in your current role, and then Lori will come to you. So Christine. Oh, Christine, you're muted.
Always do that. Okay.
Oh, good
So
morning.
good morning. I am currently at Neighborhood Villages as an education coach. I've been here for this is my 3rd week. So
Woo!
yeah. I've been in the field for over 25 years. Started as a family childcare director, and then got into advocacy by doing an AmeriCorps term, and then I've kind of worked like public school, private centers, as a teacher, a lead teacher, and then most recently as a like assistant director. The was called program specialist, which gave me the training I wanted in sort of mentoring and training adults, which got me to my ultimate goal of education coach. Because when I did my practicum years ago at Head Start, the education coach came in. I'm like, that's a job. That's like a job you
Right.
can do, you know. And so that was I've been aiming here. So
That's
and
great.
then yeah.
Keep going.
Okay. So as far as advocacy, I've sort of always sort of dabbled, or at least, like sent emails and, like to senators and things like that. And then Neighborhood Villages did the Day Without Childcare a couple years ago, and that just like got me re-energized. And that's when I had heard about strategies for children when I did my admin class like the summer before that. So between all of that, I was like, okay, I'm back. What can I do?
That's great. And where do you live, Christine?
I'm in Brooklyn.
Great. And Cherish, where do you live? I should have said that to you as well.
I live in Jamaica Plain.
Great. Lori Thames, friends since the 90s, started at LEAP, Leadership Empowerment Action Project, and here you are as part of our advocacy network. So tell us about you and how you came to be in your current role. Oh, you're muted, Lori. You're muted. Yep, sorry.
It's just this Zoom
That's it.
etiquette that you have to know. Um, for one, I just want to kudos to my team members, my ahead of me. You guys are amazing, and I envy you that you're still in the trenches, and I used to be there. So I'm in BPS now, so I feel like I'm in another universe. I know, but it's still anyway. So I started this journey almost 39 years ago. Seriously. My sister had her son, and she said, Lori, you're going to need to work in childcare because I can't send my son to school if you're not there. So I literally started at Small World Child Care Center just because my nephew LaFell was going there. And I worked there and then found a program through Wheelock College with Patty Natick. And it was just, I catapulted from there. I loved it. It was a work study program where through welfare that really just wanted to get young moms working and in early education and care. And without Patty Natick and Mary Beth Lawton, I don't know what path I would have taken in early ed, but it immediately, when you say Patty Natick, advocacy is her middle aura. And so I became an early education advocate right away. As a person who was abused as a child, I thought protecting children was number one, always what you should do. So I really connected right away and began doing with the ACE bill so long ago. Remember the ACE bill? She got me in the state house. I met representatives and legislators. I felt comfortable in the state house because from an early start, it was just part of what I know belonged to me as a citizen in Massachusetts. So I was able to go into the state house. We went through, walked through, we would find little nicks and corners and study our little words. Okay, what was that? We had a script. What were we gonna say? And the legislators were just always so welcoming. Of course, we met with their aides. I learned that aides are just as important people to get to know. That was back in the 93, 94, 95. Then we met, of course, I met Amy, Larry, when we began LEAP and we began deciding what LEAP would be, we coined the frog, of course, as its mascot. And those nights of working together, talking about advocating for our very young children in America that have no voice unless we speak for them, meant so much to me. I spent long hours at desks and tables talking with advocates and family members and family child care providers and early educators. I worked at Sunnyside Daycare Center as a teacher, then left there and became the director at Project Hope Children's Center and spent 10 years there, and then took my master's degree program. I was very fortunate to get a full scholarship for my bachelor's and then my master's. And now I am currently working at in BPS. I am the community school hub coordinator for the Mather Elementary School, the first free public elementary school in America. Everyone should know that. We will be celebrating 385 years soon. Do you know that Boston itself is 400 years? And in 2030, and we are 385. So yeah, that's beautiful. But anyway, I work in this. I met Margaret Blood many years ago when Amy and I were going for the job that she was going for with Margaret Blood, and they were really looking for a person of color. I remember that very clearly. And I can tear up because it was such a hard position to be in, because Amy and I were sisters. We were sisters in the work that we did. And we see color because we're not blind to color. We value color. We value what each of us have. But I was a courseaholic, but Amy always told me, Lori, a degree does not define you. You have what it takes to be a great leader. And I told her that I just thought she was better for the job because she embodies what it is our children, the staff, and the people of Massachusetts that advocate for us need. And she has proven that by being now the Margaret Blood of strategies for children. And I just cannot, I do not think it was ever a mistake. I appreciate her trajectory. I appreciate where I am today. I know what I do for children and family matters. Miss Barrett, why am I blanking on her name? She joined last year. She was in last year's cohort. Barrett, you know her name. She works here with me.
Oh,
Mihan,
Mihan.
sorry. Mihan Barrett. She was like, Lori, you have to do this. I was like, Amy O'Leary, of course. I lived with Amy O'Leary all my life. We were like Seinfeld making the Leap program. So she was like, Lori, you just have to do it. And I was like, there's so much going on here, but I was just
Right.
really glad that I joined. I'm so happy to be part of Strategies for Children. My goal is really to try to get to know the family childcare providers in Randolph better so that I can develop relationships, so that I can really do the project that I was hoping to complete now. I just am learning that they don't. So it's hard for them to trust
Right.
somebody they don't know. So I'm really just building relationships right now. And I'm looking forward to the work that hopefully I will complete in August. But I just am so grateful to Strategies and Amy O'Leary forever. And
Lori, I mean, I think, I have learned so much from you. One of my favorite stories is that Lori and I were sitting at a table telling people about Leap, that we had helped create, and somebody walked by and like they had no idea who we were, right? She said something like, "Oh yeah, I know about that class." Like it was just such about like what we have learned from the people who came before us, and how
yeah,
then we want to think about what that looks like as we back then were helping people as we were directors, right? So thinking
that's
about that.
right.
I
Yeah.
think, Lori, too, you being part of this advocacy network, right? You have, like you said, since the 90s have been doing this, but you have this idea and you want to see through about family childcare. So coming back to a community where you're getting support from your fellow network members and just having the space and time, which all of you have little of,
Yeah.
but the fact that you're doing it and thinking and just bringing on new challenges for you and appreciating, you have so much history in this work, Lori, but now you really want to, get to know new parts of the community, what that takes and how we
Yeah.
build relationships.
Yeah.
Um, and Lori kind of getting her degree and her master's degree, you have been an incredible inspiration to so many people. And then now your job is exactly where you belong, sitting in this hub of helping children and families in the Boston Public Schools. So as each of you think about your own jobs, and then what you're working on in the advocacy network. So Cherish, let's start with you, and Christine, and then Lori. Lori told us a little bit about what she's working on, but Cherish, tell us what you are kind of focused on for this advocacy network.
So within the advocacy network, I have partnered with a dear friend of mine, Alina. We were talking a bit about some of the struggles that we were having around early relational health, and some of the things, the struggles that the teachers were having in the classroom. And like as stated, when I first started at Ellis Early Learning, I was a family navigator within neighborhood villages, and so I knew about the COP that they had, where the family navigators would come together and talk about best practices. And so when I think of neighborhood villages, I think of the 5 centers within neighborhood villages and how neighborhood villages really pushes forth solutions and best practices within the 5 centers within neighborhood villages. And so when Alina and I were talking, we were like, wouldn't it be interesting if we were to start a COP around early relational health or early childhood mental health? And I was like, I need to do a project within Strategies for Children, so maybe this could be it. And so Alina and Pamela and Lacey and and our lead social worker at Ellis, who I always say she's like an expert in early childhood behavioral health, but she doesn't want to claim that, but I think she is. And we got on the call and we just started talking about what would it look like, what are some of the struggles, and I think we're like the 3rd meeting in and really thinking about what we want to see come out of this. And the beauty of a COP, which is a community of practice, For those of you that don't know, the beauty of it is like you don't know what's going to come out of that. Like you come together, there might be one issue that you bring to the table, but then it becomes its own thing, and so it's like I just can't wait to see what this early relational health COP is going to grow into. Yeah.
That's great. Thanks, Cherish. Christine, what about you? And I see there's
So-
a team from Neighborhood Villages tuning in. I know we're spotlighted, but yeah, there's a team. So great to see you all.
Yeah, the other side of the wall. The I can hear them.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I decided to do a project around family childcare. Lori, you kind of inspired me, sort of brought me back to my roots. I was part of the Family Daycare Professional Association in Derry, that we called it, and like a support group for each other. Pre-internet, like we had a Yellow Pages ad for our referral line, and so I thought, what exists now for providers, and then what did I need when I was starting out? Like I had to find a lot of that information. The CCR&R there was excellent, and they directed you to some things. So I just started asking around. So Melinda Weber gave me some time, and then Linda Schumacher. And I chatted for over an hour last week to sort of start building the idea. And so I've created a survey to send out to family and child care educators to see what kind of resources do you need? Like what information can you not find? And I want to build like a who, what, where, sort of one stop. Was going to be a one pager. It's maybe looking like a website at this point, judging from all the information people want.
Yeah.
But so I have that link to drop into the chat if people want to forward it along to their networks. But yeah, so that's where we're at. The survey is finalized and ready to go out. So.
Great. And Lori, you live in Randolph and you work in Boston. And so tell us a little bit more about what you're hoping to do with family child care providers.
Yeah, so I again have always wondered, why, Lori, didn't you ever transfer yourself and your life to Randolph? You lived there. Why didn't you just stay in that community? Well, I love Boston. I'm just always Boston. But when I got connected to strategies and thinking about looking at some of the old projects that were done, I was thinking about the family childcare providers in Randolph that are very few and far between. When my grandchildren were born and they lived with me, we really couldn't find, one. And then when we did, we just we wanted a different quality. And so I was thinking that it would be a great way to connect with people in my community so that I can really understand them and know who they are, but then also bring this wealth of resource that I have access to. And I have my basement, my husband has not divorced me yet, is so full of things that are not being used, and I want to give them to family childcare homes. So I am beginning this weekend. I am doing a estate sale, and I am giving 20% off to all family childcare providers and allowing them to come and then get my flyer that is going to welcome them to the local church in my area so that I can do welcome, hello, this is who I am, this is what I can offer, and you should be connected to Strategies for Children for more information.
It's so true. I mean, so many of us kind of work in one place, live in another. You think about that advocacy, right?
Yeah.
You need to know both of your places. So it's just, I think, kind of to think about your trajectory and like now coming back home, thinking about Randolph and just, this whole idea of like what community is it where we live? Is it where we work? Is it who we surround ourselves? So if you think about policymakers right now, we're in the middle of the budget process. Cherish, Christine, and Lori, what's one thing you would want policymakers to know right now about the work, about you, about what they can do to help? What would you want them to know, Cherish?
Well, first, I'd want them to know that we're educators. And so early childhood teachers are not babysitters, they are educators. And they are really working hard to really develop brains. And so if you are investing in early childhood education, you are investing in our future leaders, you're investing in our future period. And so it is a profession that deserves a lot of attention. And I think those that are beginning to open their eyes and realize just how important early education is.
Right. Christine, what about you?
So I think I always like to make the point that early education is a public good and we need to be funded as such. And then also to bring it to them on an economic level, that like the economy runs on childcare. We saw that during COVID, and you know, like people can't go to work if they don't have us, and we should have living wages, you know, and a wonderful environment to work in, just like everyone else.
That's
And
right.
Lori, what would you add?
I would add that whether I voted for you or not, had the opportunity to, because I lived in your community or not, you work for me. And that I care for all children, not in just my community, not in
Right.
just my school, but in all of our Commonwealth. And that it's important that they see me and all my fellow advocates as people that are looking for, like Christine just said, a living wage that is respectable for the work that we do. Without any of us, you all can see the t-shirt I have on today. It says teachers make all of these other jobs possible. And we are teachers. We don't have to say childcare. We are teachers from the start, and that we are educating our very young to our elementary age student, and we want to be recognized for that. One day we will have universal care, which means that we do not pay for childcare anymore, that the country pays for it as it is in Europe, because it is necessary for us to live and work.
Woo! As we kind of close out here, and anybody can answer this, any aha moments that you share? I mean, you each come to this work with years of experience and expertise, but this community, and it's great to see there are so many Cohort 3 members here cheering you on, as well as the alum and the Advocacy Network. So what's an aha moment you want to share kind of in our last minute or two that you felt over this kind of experience?
I think Cherish and I had an opportunity to do the NACI Public Policy Forum through the Advocacy Network. And what really struck me was like, we really aren't alone. There are so many people, so many researchers, so many public policy people like working on this too, you know, so it was nice.
Great.
Yeah.
Anything, Lori or Cherish?
Just that I know legislators that are still in the office still know me. And that's a great aha. Just reconnecting with a couple of them that are still there from when I was a director in childcare. They still know me. And it's like, wow, that's really good, really good for them to say, I remember you. So that was
great.
nice. Yeah.
I would say power in numbers, that and that your voice really does matter. And that, yes, the budget policy and policy is a bit confusing, right? And that's okay.
That's right.
But that we're here, that the Advocacy Network, we're a team, and because of numbers and because of we're all able to uplift each other and call on you, Amy, when things are confusing.
Well, I mean, thank you all for joining us this morning and sharing and giving us a good time to reflect and pause. And Lori, thank you. Special thanks for sharing our story. And I think another piece that you're all teaching us is what it means to have a community, what it means to learn together, what it means to kind of take risks and try things out and try to get more information about something. And that you have so much to offer to the world. We all do, to offer to this world, and just kind of having this platform and this opportunity together. I mean, as Titus would say, he is off this week. The Advocacy Network is his favorite meeting of the month, which he tells us all the time as staff. And I think we share in that, just to watch and to see the support that you have for each other, and your, kind of your belief that you can do it. It is certainly inspiring. So thank you for joining us and for being so vulnerable and sharing so much of your stories today. That does not go unnoticed as well, with almost 50, yeah, over 50 people at one point on the call. Thank you for that as well. Tonight, we also have the 9:30 call in Spanish with Jeanette Montoya from the Department of Early Education and Care, who's been in a position created for family childcare. So it's the same Zoom that we used this morning. Please share with your network. Our Advocacy Network participants, Paula and Harold, are the facilitators, along with Neri, our Director of Communications. So please share. It's the same email that everybody got about the week of speakers, Zoom information, and we will see everybody either tonight and tomorrow morning. Thanks again to Cherish, Christine, and Lori, and we'll see you all tomorrow. Good
Bye.
night.